Welcome to Real Reviews, your weekly movie review event. Today, unfortunately, Rabbit couldn't be here. He got a hold of Dr. Leo Marvin's book. You know how he has all these phobias. Yeah. Well, he got a hold of it, and he's working on it. He went up to his cabin, but luckily in between, I guess it was his sailing lessons and death therapy. I don't know what that's all about. But either way, he gave us his scores, and he'll be hopefully back next week if nothing bad happens. But in the meantime, I'm glad to have Shane Mosel, longtime friend and moviegoer. His Wikipedia says, do not fall asleep first at his slumber parties. I'm just not sure what that means. Hopefully, nothing too bad. How you doing?
Good. Glad to be here.
Yeah. Did you enjoy the movies?
Yes, I did.
Awesome. Yep. First of all, on the marquee is a movie that we didn't see together. We have Me Before You, directed by Thea Sharrock and based on a novel by Jojo Moyes. Basically, what we have is this woman who is Lou Clark, who's played by Emily Clark. You might remember her from Game of Thrones, and she is having problems finding a job. She accepts this job that's a lot like a lot of these stereotypical babysitter movies where the kid that they're watching is kind of out of control and goes through many babysitters. She takes a job, it pays extremely well, and it's an adult, and he's grumpy because he is used to have a playboy lifestyle. He is rich, he's famous, but now he's a quadriplegic after being hit by a motorcycle. She takes care of him, and meanwhile, she also has a boyfriend that is extremely athletic, but he's kind of average in every way, where this new client that she's working with, even though he's grumpy, he's extremely attractive, extremely wealthy. It's almost like Prince Charming, but he cannot walk, and he's extremely grumpy. I can't stress that enough. Eventually, she ends up finding feelings, and it kind of feels like to me that it's like a would you rather game. You know, you have this boyfriend that has all these abilities, but he's average in all these other ways, or you could have possibly this other person that you're interested in that's literally a Prince Charming with the castle in check, but he can't really get anywhere. This is meant to be a tearjerker. When I was at the theater, a lot of people were crying. I didn't get quite the emotional attachment that a lot of the other people in the audience did. The acting was spot on, and it really wasn't my type of movie. I gave it a 2.5. I just thought it was kind of whatever. It was kind of like a guilty pleasure. I enjoyed it at first, but after a while, I was like, I would rather have seen more of an emotional connection towards Lou Clark and Will Traynor, which was her romantic person that was in the wheelchair. Rabbit also gave me his reviews, and I will. Me Before You, he gave a 3.5. He says, surprisingly solid acting with effectively built story. Clark was adorable. Just wish they dealt with a serious matter and a little less trivial. Is that
Good
how
job.
you say it? Thank you. I really wouldn't probably recommend too many people to go out there. It's probably a good date movie. But anyhow, next on the marquee, we have
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, I've been a Ninja Turtle fan my whole life, ever since I was a kid. Used to watch the cartoons, read some of the comics. I like this movie. For one, we were introduced to some new characters, Bebop and Rocksteady, which are Shredder's little henchmen, well, big henchmen, and also Krang. We could have used more time with Krang, because they kind of get that relationship. Yeah. It's just done way too fast. But other than that, I did like the character. He even had the annoying voice he had as the cartoon character.
Yeah.
And of course, we had Megan Fox, which adds to any movie.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean-
definitely adds to most of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But anyhow, yeah, Krang, they did stay true to the cartoon, I
Yes.
thought, with the annoying voices and stuff like that. And we did talk about this already a little bit. There's some things about the cartoon that I really liked. When it came out when I was a kid, it was kind of original. It was absurd. I liked the idea that there was these turtles that were teenagers that were also ninjas and blah, blah, blah. But the things I didn't like about the cartoon now as an adult, like the goofy voices and the obnoxious acting and stuff like that, that's highlighted in this one and not really, not as much as the wonder that I used to enjoy that much. I compared Krang, which you're right, barely was in it. He was introduced a little bit with Shredder, and it was much like they were introduced, and after a 30-second relationship, they trusted each other enough to annihilate the world. And he sounded like Bobcat Goldthwait trying to do Roger Rabbit. I know that dates me a lot, but what did you think of the voice? Do you think it was all right?
I didn't mind it. I thought it was okay. I mean, it wasn't. It's like a cartoon. It's annoying, but
Yeah, but, I mean...
I thought the character was good.
Did you wish that they kind of maybe evolved that character, or... I'm just saying. Not really... One of the things that I had problems with was it seems like a lot of problems were resolved really quickly.
Yeah.
There's a scene with Master Shredder, and it's not big. It's just something that irritated me. He's doing this meditation thing for 24 hours, and he's upside down. And there's a countdown timer saying when his meditation was going to be done. And I just the turtles came in, disrupted everything. He fell down. He was upset for like a little bit, and the turtles were just like, "Oh, we gotta go!" And he's like, "Save the world!" And it's like, well, I thought maybe there would be a little bit more to that relationship.
It's the way it always was in the cartoon. Also, he'd
Yeah.
be doing something when they screw it up, and
There's a lot of cartoons that I don't look back at as something that was great. Like my favorite was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I mean, not Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but Thundercats. Loved that show. I had all the little collector dolls and stuff like that, or action figures. I'm sorry,
dolls.
Action figures, yeah, not dolls. And I couldn't think of anything I loved more than Thundercats. A few years ago, I was given a gift of the complete collection of Thundercat shows. And I brought my kids around, and I'm like, this is what Dad was raised on. This is so much better than all the cartoons you are watching. We got through one episode, and everybody was kind of disappointed in what I was watching as a kid. The animation was bad, the writing was terrible, the voice acting was horrible, and even though in my memory I was like, Thundercats, these guys came from Thundera, and it just didn't pan out to current generations. That's what I thought of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. All the bad things about the cartoon was truly translated to the new movie also. And also, this isn't a Michael Bay, but it's produced by Michael Bay. His choice of actors are really, really poor. Will Arnett is an obnoxious character. Megan Fox is just there pretty much for her looks, not her acting skill. I'm sure she would be doing other things if Michael Bay was not hiring her constantly.
she's still being an actress, but yeah.
Yeah. Some of these other characters, like the voice for Krang, which I do not have, but that was just like nails on a chalkboard for me.
That drastic.
Well, a little bit, yeah.
What do you think of the story, as far as the story?
As far as the story, I think that's fine.
Takes place right after the last movie. Shredder's still in custody, and they hire a scientist to help break him out, and he wants to take over the world.
Also, not a very, very big fan of Tyler Perry.
No?
Have you seen any of those?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not either. But.
No, but you know, he was in. There were some laughs. He was kind of the goofy, nutty professor in a way. Bebop and Rocksteady. I thought their characters were a little over top.
Really?
Yeah. Well, they first thing their sense of humor is, I'm a pretty immature guy. I'm not, you know, I like some of the potty jokes and stuff like that, but I like my immaturity to like a 13-year-old level or a 15-year-old level, where a lot of these jokes were like right down to 5-year-old level. I thought that there should have been more setup, less yappity-yappity. A lot of times they were just saying one-liners that sounded cool, but just because it sounds cool doesn't mean it makes sense or funny or entertaining. It just sounds cool. Same thing with all the Transformer movies that, you know, you'd have Optimus Prime coming out and he'd be slashing his sword around and he'd be saying things like, you know, no, not literally, but of the equivalent of like cheeseburger right before he stabs someone or breaks them to pieces. And you get a little bit of that in this movie also. The animation was, I thought, a lot better than the previous one.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. Done very well.
You saw the first one, right?
Yes.
There was a scene at the very end where they had a CG shredder on top of that building that looked like it was pretty much cut and paste onto it. It was, they did a lot better at their CG this time. What did you give this? What score did you give Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
I gave this movie a 3.5.
I gave it a 2.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy the movie. I did enjoy it the second time around, but I didn't enjoy it enough where I could ever say I'd watch this a third time. No. Mr. Rabbit, he gave a 3.5 to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He says it captured the essence of the original animated show.
I think the kids are going to love it.
I think they will.
And it's got something for the parents, too, I take the kids. It's a good all-around movie.
But, you know, a lot of kids also like Twilight, too.
Okay.
Just saying.
Wow.
Yeah, I did that. Did you like the Twilight series?
No.
No?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh, okay. Last we have on the marquee is Popstar, Never Stop Stopping. Directed by Eva Schaefer and starring Andy Samberg. This is pretty much his Lonely Island routine. If you're familiar with that, him and Justin Timberlake came out with a bunch of really popular Saturday Night Live skits where they're singing a video of just crazy songs. This is, of course, not that band. It's Adam Sandberg with Jorma Taccone and Akiva Schaffer playing his two buddies, Owen and Lawrence. Much like Beastie Boys, this is 3 guys coming together as good friends, and they are pumping out great music. Everybody loves the classic song, what was it, Donkey Roll?
Yes.
Yes.
And the dance.
And the dance, too. This movie is set documentary style or mockumentary style, where there is tons of people actually from this era that kind of represent the turmoils that these people go through. Andy Samberg, he plays Connor. He separates from the group. He is the crazy bad boy of the group. His buddy Owen, he was the DJ, and then his buddy Lawrence, he was the brains who made all these, made all the lyrics and stuff. Well, when Connor goes out on his own, he kind of ditches 2/3 of what made him great. He can't come up with any lyrics. Matter of fact, a lot of his lyrics are a little bit offensive. And there's this a scene where he's doing a video with Pink, and it's about problems with gay marriage and how it's not legal and it's wrong, but with every other sentence, he has to throw in something else to make it seem like he's not gay, because that's really important to him, that everybody knows he's straight. And so he'll sing a lyric saying, you know, you are who you are, I like sports, I'm not gay, and then on, and it's offensive. And you can see Pink was looking at him like, what are you doing? But that's pretty much what his career is. He also has a lively song, I can't tell you the lyrics of the Obama, not Obama, but Bin Laden song.
Bin Laden.
That was, again, you know, not getting him any fans. But it's pretty much following these guys day by day, watching Connor's career kind of fall apart. Owen trying to convince him to get the original band back together. Every once in a while, cutting to Lawrence, who is on a farm, kind of looking almost a little homeless, kind of stewing over how he was kind of thrown out of the band and how he wasn't recognized for his talents. What did you think of the movie?
Thought the movie was okay. I liked the premise of, the three guys are a group, they're a team, and one guy gets a big head and pretty much, it just takes over and kicks everybody out.
Yeah.
And then the movie goes on from there. The acting was, so-so.
Well, I don't think.
But I don't think it's there for the acting anyway.
No. All these guys are comedians.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily make them good characters either.
I like the characters though.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah.
They grow on you.
A little bit.
Yeah. What did you think of the songs compared to like the Lonely Island songs that you hear from Saturday Night Live?
I thought the songs were interesting, to say the least.
Did you think they were funnier or kind of a drop in quality?
I thought they're pretty funny.
Yeah.
I don't know if funnier, but
yeah, I really like those. They did have Justin Timberlake in here a couple of times, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah.
He played a chef in the background that he was caught singing the songs once, and they told him to leave it to the professionals, which I thought was funny because none of these guys are professional musicians. I mean, they do music, and they do it well, but that's not their profession. Their profession is comedy. And Justin Timberlake did end up getting kind of a gig, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, what did you ultimately end up giving the movie?
I gave this movie a 3. Thought it was above average a little bit. I'd see it again one more time, maybe.
I also gave it a 3. And I thought it was okay. I think it's kind of be one of those movies that people forget about in a couple of years.
I think so too.
Right now, it's one of the higher rated movies. I generally did enjoy it. I watched it twice, and I pretty much guarantee 6 months from now I'll be struggling to try to remember the name of this But for the meantime, if you are looking for a funny movie to go to, I think it's one of the funnier ones on the marquee. So
right now, yes.
Yeah. Jamison, he gave Popstar a 3.5. He said showcased the strengths of Lonely Island boys with terrific meta cameos from celebs who have lived those lives. And really, I didn't know too much. About a lot of these guys' lives in the background, so I didn't quite grasp that. I know Usher was in it, and
they're all out of my music likes. So.
Yeah, 50 Cent, stuff like that. Did you ever see Spinal Tap?
Long time ago.
Yeah? What about, did you own the CD to Bad News at all?
No.
No? No. I remember listening to it a lot. It was with John Cleese in it. It was the same thing. Metal guys that, they're kind of in the background playing music and stuff. Well, either way, these things are great. Well, thank you very much for coming on to the show and helping me out with this. Did you have a good time?
A very good time.
All right,
I enjoy coming in here. Yep.
You do it again?
I'll do it again, yes.
All right, sweet. Well, thank you very much. And next, we're going to have... 1 second. We're going to have Jeff Robbins. He is the Sun Prairie Media Center Executive Director and author of Second City Television, a history and episode guide. And he will go with talk about Spinal Tap with me since he is our resident expert. Thank you for coming on, Jeff. Hey, how's it going? So we're going to be talking about Spinal Tap.
What happened? Where was I for the first 20 minutes?
Well, you were Shane Mosel for a while,
Okay.
and then because of movie magic, we're able to change you into Jeff Robbins.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. This is Spinal Tap, made in 1984.
I've never seen it.
Oh my gosh, you just made me
I'm
really
kidding.
nervous. It was like one of the first mockumentaries.
Is that our
I've
movie
seen.
throwback for the week?
That is our throwback. It
Sweet.
spins off of Popstar, Never Stopping. Have you heard of that?
I have.
It's a decent movie.
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Jamison gave it a 3.5. He highly recommends it. I gave it a 3.
And gave it a 3. Okay, fair enough.
But it kind of goes off the same idea of Spinal Tap, which came out in '84. I believe we have Rob Reiner. He was the director. Michael McKean. He plays David St. Hubbins. Christopher Guest, Nigel Tufnell, and Harry Shearer as Derek Smalls.
Yes, and a cast of thousands.
Oh yeah, there's
cameos.
Tons of cameos in here.
Paul Schaefer, Billy Crystal, Howard Hessman,
It was
Fran Drescher, Fred Willard.
That was weird seeing Fran Drescher in there.
Yeah.
For some reason, I picture her as more of a '90s actress with her nanny,
Right.
and then to have her in this movie.
She had the classic line about, "You had a grease-naked woman,
with
and you stuff a glove in her face."
with a dog collar.
You don't
on.
find that offensive?
No. And then the Spinal Tap, they're arguing that someone else had something more offensive, and they're like, but it was the band who was being dominated. It was.
I don't think there's any way to. I mean, I'm sure this is supposed to be more organized than how we're starting this, but I don't think there's any way to talk about Spinal Tap without just like running off your favorite lines.
No,
true. That's just one of
It's one of those movies that's heavily quoted.
Yes, heavily quoted, to the annoyance of my wife.
For people who don't know, Spinal Tap it takes place with a rock band similar to Popstar, where you have a couple of egos that end up clashing, and it starts breaking up the band a little bit.
There's the girlfriend, or the wife. Is it the girlfriend or the wife now?
Girlfriend, but
The
they
girlfriend
say it's the wife. Nigel calls it the wife because.
Oh, that's right. That's the classic
she's-
scene about, she's not my wife. Well, whatever the blank she is, yeah.
I think they were taking a stab at John Lennon with the Yoko, and it was kind of being the Yoko Ono's calling the shots kind of thing. They had a Stonehenge scene that was copied from a Led Zeppelin concert. They're one of their American tours and stuff like that.
Right.
So they take bits and pieces of actual things that happened and then put a big comedic spin on it. Fun fact on IMDb, when they do the scores, they cranked it up to 11. It's the only movie that's rated on 11-star scale.
Well, now you have to. Do you have to explain that, or
Well-
do you assume that people watching this know what that is?
Well, if they haven't seen it, they should see it. But if you haven't seen it, it's because the amp that they have is the only amp that goes up to 11. Most amps, they stop at 10.
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make that be the last one?
Because it's 11.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what do you think of this movie? Would you recommend it?
Well, Spinal Tap is probably, if I had to pick one, if somebody forced me to pick a favorite film, I'm always going to be biased towards comedies, but if somebody forced me to pick a favorite film, it would probably be Spinal Tap. Spinal Tap is the reason I got into collecting films, and the reason for that is I heard many, many years ago that there was a Criterion Laserdisc of Spinal Tap that had, an hour of deleted scenes and commentary and all this stuff on it, and that's what made me go buy a Laserdisc player. And then, of course, after that, I got the Criterion DVD, which quickly went out of print, and which is probably my most prized DVD. And then, of course, there's the MGM DVD, which has different deleted scenes and different commentaries, and then of course now I have the Blu-ray. So
Do you still have that Laserdisc?
I don't still have the Laserdisc. I sold that, but I do have the DVD, which the DVD's out of print.
I know it's crazy, but I love those Laserdiscs. They were the record size, and they were actually a nice piece of art. Just kind of a shame that in order to watch a movie, you could only watch it 15 minutes at a time.
You have to keep flipping it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Annoying, but yeah, I have a sort of a soft spot for Laserdisc as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, speaking of that, I mean, if anybody, if there's fans of this film watching this show and they don't own any of those DVDs or Blu-rays, I mean, the deleted scenes on the sets I think are just as hilarious as the film. And my favorite is there's like a running gag in the deleted scenes where they've all the members of Spinal Tap have slept with this opening band that they've had, and they all end up getting these massive herpes on their face.
Oh.
And so in the final product, there's a scene that they left in where I don't know if it's Christopher Guest or Michael McKean or if it's even Harry Shearer, but there's he has this huge cold sore.
Uh-huh.
And of course, it's not explained at all because they took the rest of that plot out.
Yeah.
But it just almost makes it all the funnier when you see the film. It's just like this random cold sore.
I wish I had time to actually get the disc. I had to watch it streaming, and that's one of the things that you kind of lose when you stream movies or VHS, which was a horrible time. I think. Dark times. But yeah, most of these commentaries and extras and stuff that you get on discs, they're almost as interesting or sometimes even more interesting than the actual movie.
There's a hilarious scene where they're booked on some sort of sports talk show, radio talk show, and somebody calls up with a question about Ferguson Jenkins, who, it was like a baseball pitcher back in the 70s. And the drummer, the keyboardist, one of the nondescript members of the band, all of a sudden is like this Ferguson Jenkins trivia buff, and he rattles off all these stats about Ferguson Jenkins, and yeah, it's very good stuff that didn't make the final film.
I like how you see Michael McKean. He's like always working still. Right now he's in Better Call Saul.
Yep.
Just fantastic show. And he's been around since Laverne and Shirley too. So it's like he's got a huge career filled with a lot of great things.
And Harry Shearer, was on SNL way back as far as '79.
Yep.
And of course he's been doing The Simpsons for 100 years.
He's a Simpson character?
Yeah, he does a lot of the Simpsons voices.
Does he?
He does, doesn't he do Flanders? Does he do the Flanders, or does he do the sniveling assistant? He does one of those two.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I did not know.
But anyway, I know it's easy to run out of time talking about Spinal Tap. But so, do you think that this movie is like a groundbreaking film, or do you see predecessors?
Oh, I see
that sort of inspired it.
I see a lot of predecessors that inspired it. There was a CD, and I think I might be one of the few people who've heard of it, called Bad News, which is a lot like Spinal Tap if they made the album for people to consume and listen to. I would suggest picking that up if people haven't seen it. And you also have your other rockumentaries like Popstar that just came out.
Right. Have you ever seen The Last Waltz? I think there's a lot of precedence in The Last Waltz for Spinal Tap. Obviously, Spinal Tap was making fun of The Last Waltz, but I mean, because Martin Scorsese is Marty DeBurgi. Martin Scorsese is there talking to the members of the band, like Marty DeBurgi's talking to Spinal Tap.
Okay.
And then also the Ruddles. Have you seen the Ruddles, the parody of the Beatles?
No.
Done by Eric Idle.
Was this before Spinal Tap?
This is before
also?
Spinal Tap. So I think that's another movie that inspired Spinal Tap. But of course, the great thing about Spinal Tap is you don't need to be an expert on any one particular band. It's just a hilarious film.
You just kind of have to know the era a little bit.
And then, of course, Chris Guest went on to do all the other Waiting for Guffman and Best in Show and all that kind of stuff. So.
Well, that's awesome.
Great film.
Great film.
Good throwback choice.
I'm just going to throw in.
I'm going to give Jamison the credit for that one.
Yeah?
Okay.
He did choose that one. I thought it was a great choice. We will probably... let's go into movies, which is coming soon. Finding Dory by Ellen DeGeneres plays Dory. It's a sequel to Pixar's Finding Nemo. Dory, being forgetful, loses her way, and her friends need to find it. Everybody learns a little bit about family.
It's going to be the biggest movie of the year.
I'm thinking it's going to be huge.
The biggest movie of the year. That's my prediction.
I'm guessing Star Wars is going to get it, but...
Star Wars?
Yeah, Rogue
That came
One.
out last year. That came out in...
We're getting Rogue One in December.
No, that one. Okay.
Another big one coming out in 2 weeks is Central Intelligence with Dwayne Johnson as Bob Stone, Kevin Hart as the accountant that the CIA is recruiting.
Am I going to have to see that?
You are going to have to see that. And then a
that's
third
not
movie,
good.
which is probably be a small release, is Clown, directed by John Watts. Father finds a clown suit to do his son's birthday party, and it ends up being a living demonic thing. I'm excited to see it. It looks gory. It looks scary. I think anybody scared of clowns would love it. Lastly, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Marcus Theaters, for allowing us into their theater and showing us all these movies. You guys are great. Everybody definitely try those Dream Loungers, and I want everybody to have a safe week, and I welcome Jamison back next week. You guys have a good night.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.